How to practice English. Lily often felt a heavy knot in her stomach. The thought of speaking English publicly sent shivers down her spine. How to practice English, she'd constantly ponder, flipping through worn-out phrasebooks. Her biggest fear wasn't silence, but the dreaded errors that seemed to jump out of her mouth, making her want to disappear. She observed others with a mix of admiration and despair. How people speak English so effortlessly, she'd wonder, watching tourists chat freely. Their words flowed like a natural river, while hers felt like a dammed up stream, bursting only in awkward, mispronounced trickles. This persistent question, why I always make mistakes, haunted her dreams. Every grammar rule seemed to have an exception, every pronunciation a subtle trap. She longed to express complex ideas, to truly connect, but the fear of imperfection paralyzed her daily. Lily knew improving was vital for her future, her career, and her desire to travel the world. How to improve your English, she meticulously searched online, devouring countless articles and videos. Yet, the practical application remained a daunting, uncrossed bridge. She understood the theory, immersion, repetition, courage. But applying it? That was the Everest she felt too small to climb. The advice listen and practice echoed, yet her own voice remained stubbornly locked away, refusing to venture out. One evening, watching a captivating English vlogger, a new thought sparked. How to improve your listening skills became her immediate focus. She started consuming podcasts, movies, and songs, not just for entertainment, but as a dedicated student of sound. Every new word, every nuanced intonation, she absorbed like a sponge. This passive learning, however, didn't directly address her speaking anxiety. She still questioned how to take first step for talking, feeling the familiar resistance. Her inner voice constantly screamed, "I don't want to make mistakes, but I always why." This self-defeating loop was her greatest enemy. It wasn't about ability, it was about the psychological barrier, the perfectionism she unintentionally harbored. A friend, observing Lily's quiet struggle, suggested a local English-speaking club. Lily's initial reaction was a surge of panic. No, absolutely not, she thought, imagining all the ways she could embarrass herself in front of strangers. Yet, the friend's gentle persistence chipped away at her resolve. It's a safe space, they assured her. Everyone there is learning. No one cares about mistakes, they care about communication. This simple truth began to resonate faintly. With a pounding heart, Lily finally decided to try. Her first meeting was a blur of nervous smiles and whispered apologies. When it was her turn to speak, her throat tightened, and her voice came out as a barely audible squeak. She wanted to run, to hide under the table. But then, she noticed something. Other learners also stumbled. They paused, searched for words, and occasionally used the wrong tense. Yet, they kept going, unafraid. This realization was profound. It wasn't about flawlessness, it was about the courage to try, to push past the discomfort. This was how to talk with anyone, by simply starting, regardless of the perceived imperfections. From that day forward, Lily committed to a new strategy. She wouldn't just listen and practice passively. She would actively engage, seeking opportunities to speak, even if it meant feeling foolish at times. She joined online language exchange forums, finding partners eager to learn her native tongue in exchange for English conversation. Her first few video calls were agonizingly slow, filled with long pauses and awkward laughter. But with each call, a tiny bit of the fear eroded. She began to notice patterns, the rhythm of natural speech. Her brain started to anticipate common phrases, making the flow of conversation less of a struggle. Her listening skills, honed by hours of podcasts, now served her well in real-time interactions. She could grasp the gist, even if she missed a few words, which significantly reduced her anxiety during dialogues. The old question, why I always make mistakes, started to fade. Instead, she reframed it, how can I learn from this mistake? Each error became a lesson, not a reason to quit, a vital shift in perspective. She understood that mistakes were not failures but stepping stones. They were proof that she was trying, that she was pushing her boundaries, and that she was actively learning, a crucial component of how to learn English. Lily even started speaking to herself in English while doing chores, narrating her actions, and thinking aloud. This shadowing technique helped her internalize sentence structures and improve her pronunciation without external pressure. Her confidence grew, not in leaps and bounds, but in steady, measurable increments. She was no longer agonizing over how to improve your English, but rather enjoying the journey of continuous discovery. She discovered that learning was less about perfect grammar and more about effective communication. People understood her, and she understood them, which was the ultimate goal, surpassing the initial fear. The local coffee shop became her impromptu classroom. She'd order in English, ask for recommendations, and even initiate small talks with the baristas, gradually expanding her comfort zone one brief interaction at a time. Her once silent voice now carried a newfound assertiveness. The fear of embarrassment had been replaced by a genuine curiosity about different accents and cultural nuances, enriching her overall learning experience. Lily realized that how to take first step for talking was indeed the hardest part. Once that initial barrier was broken, the momentum carried her forward, making subsequent steps feel much lighter and easier. She found joy in expressing herself, even when fumbling for words. The true reward was connection, the bridge she built between herself and others through shared language, a profound human experience. Her journey taught her that how to learn English wasn't a linear path but a winding road filled with ups and downs. Consistency and resilience proved far more valuable than innate talent or perfect memory. Lily's initial despair about "I don't want to make mistake but I always like" transformed into a quiet acceptance. Mistakes were part of the process, vital data points for improvement, not signs of failure. She started advising others, sharing her story with new learners who harbored similar anxieties. Just speak, she'd tell them, even if it's imperfect. Progress, not perfection, is the goal you should embrace. Her English-speaking club became a second family, a supportive environment where everyone cheered each other on. This camaraderie significantly boosted her morale and accelerated her linguistic development. Lily even began contributing to the club's discussions, leading impromptu debates and sharing personal anecdotes. Her confidence soared, a stark contrast to her initial hesitant silence on day one. She discovered that the best way how to improve your English was to immerse herself completely, to make English a part of her daily fabric, not just a subject to study in isolation. Watching English movies without subtitles, which once seemed impossible, now felt natural. She could follow the plot, appreciate the humor, and understand the subtleties, a testament to her improved listening skills. The fear of how to talk with anyone had dissipated almost entirely. She approached strangers, initiated conversations, and found immense satisfaction in bridging cultural gaps through shared dialogue. Her vocabulary expanded naturally through context, rather than rote memorization. She picked up idioms and slang by listening to native speakers, integrating them smoothly into her own burgeoning lexicon. Lily's pronunciation also saw remarkable improvement. She recorded herself speaking, then compared it to native speakers, making subtle adjustments to her intonation and rhythm. This was active listen and practice. She recognized that language learning was a marathon, not a sprint. There would be plateaus and moments of frustration, but consistent effort invariably yielded progress, pushing her forward steadily. The journey had transformed her, not just linguistically, but personally. She was more adventurous, more resilient, and far less critical of her own imperfections, a valuable life lesson gained. Lily now understood how people speak English. It wasn't magic, but a combination of consistent exposure, fearless practice, and a willingness to embrace the learning process, mistakes and all. She often reflected on her past self, the girl crippled by anxiety over why I always make mistakes. That girl seemed like a distant memory, replaced by a confident, articulate woman. Her advice to anyone struggling was simple: just open your mouth. Make sound. Don't worry about perfection. The perfect comes with practice. The practice begins with sound. Just speak. This newfound freedom in expression was liberating. It wasn't about sounding like a native speaker, but about being able to convey her thoughts and feelings clearly and confidently. Lily's story became an inspiration within her community. She proved that overcoming language barriers was less about innate talent and more about persistent effort and a positive mindset. She started volunteering as a conversation partner for new immigrants, sharing her strategies on how to practice English and building their confidence, paying forward the support she once received. Her initial struggles with how to improve your listening skills now seem trivial. Her ears were attuned to the nuances, making comprehension almost effortless in most conversational settings. Lily truly embodied the spirit of listen and practice, making it an active, dynamic process rather than a passive, disconnected activity. Her dedication was truly remarkable to witness. She even experimented with different accents, mimicking them playfully to improve her own articulation. This playful approach made the learning process enjoyable and less like a chore. The fear of how to take first step for talking had been completely conquered. She now relished opportunities to speak, seeing every conversation as a chance to grow and connect. I don't want to make mistakes, but I always why was replaced by I make mistakes, and that's okay, because I'm learning. This paradigm shift was the key to unlocking her potential. Her journey showed that true fluency wasn't about never making errors, but about the ability to recover from them gracefully and continue communicating effectively, an invaluable skill. Lily often thought of the countless hours she spent agonizing. If only she had embraced imperfections sooner, how much faster she might have progressed, but regret serves no purpose. The most crucial lesson she learned was that language is alive, fluid, and ever-changing. It's about participation, not perfection. This understanding truly changed her entire perspective. So, if you're out there, struggling with how to learn English, remember Lily. Remember her journey from quiet anxiety to confident communication. Your path is waiting to unfold. Embrace every stumble, every mispronunciation, every awkward pause. These are not signs of failure, they are badges of courage, proof that you are actively engaging with the language. The world opens up when you bravely choose to speak. Take that first step. Listen, practice, and let your voice be heard. Your English adventure awaits, full of endless possibilities.